Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay, so let's remove that one. Yeah. Save. Oh, I guess we are live. Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody.
This is Laura, and this is Randy.
I'm Randy. Hello.
We're here today just going to do some position reviews and talk about horses and other kinds of other fun stuff. So if you want to put comments in, or if you know somebody who wants to watch this or think that you should watch this, then, oh, and here's Patty.
Hi, sorry, guys.
This is Patty. So we're going to just watch a few horse things and do some position reviews. If you want to have your position review done, you can send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. So are you ready for the first one, Patty?
Absolutely.
Are you ready for the first one, Randy?
Yes. Well,
yeah. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Chrome tab. Share. Okay, what do you think of this picture? What's right with this picture? What's wrong with this picture?
It's a pretty horse.
Yeah.
Nice color.
Nice color. Nice color. I thought this was great. So I think when people think we're going horseback riding or sit on horses, this is what they think about, right? And you know what? I think one of the worst things that irritates me the most.
What's that?
This right here.
Oh, do you think?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, she's got her hand through the little loop on the whip.
There's lots in this picture that irritates me. However, yes, you are correct. It's really a pretty picture. Artistically. It's
probably never been on a horse in her life.
Well, obviously, and who would with that outfit on? I mean, how is she going to get off? And who's going to be sitting in that saddle next?
Oh, you're bad. Bad, I tell you.
But she's got those stirrups, Randy, that you don't like.
Oh, the peacocks?
Yeah.
I can't see them.
I can't see them.
Just those safety stirrups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody was using them for a long time. They were the beginning of safety stirrups, but now they've developed this. There's so many companies that have developed a different quality or different type that's safe where we don't have those issues.
She's pretty though. It's a pretty picture, isn't it?
It is a pretty picture, and she's a pretty model, and it's a pretty horse. And
okay.
Well, I'm trying to get on the other computer, sorry. And so
That's all right.
It's just so much fun.
Okay, so here's another one. Let's take a look at this one. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Her stirrups, it's cute horse, that's for sure. But so as I look at her position, it's stiff because her stirrups are too long.
You think her stirrups are too long?
Yes, because her knee's straight. She's also twisted her leg back, so she's using the back of her calf instead of the inside of her calf muscle.
Uh-oh.
And as a result, balance because she's not balanced over her lower leg at this point.
Yeah, so sure, she's not balanced over her lower leg. So, like you say, she's really open. She's just really standing up in her stirrups, right?
Yes, and balancing. You can see the whole thing is stiff instead of because of what she's doing. She will not have a flow with her position because she's locked up her ankle, her knee, and her hip. She's locked up all the way up through her back.
Yep.
And that's because she doesn't have that foundation of her lower leg, which would change everything else. But you can see she's following with her hands as best she can, but it's hard when you have a stiff lower leg position.
Right. So her heels are up, her foot, she's reaching for the stirrup and standing up in her stirrup. So what can we do to help this ride? Oh, you know what's the other thing? Patty, where are you, Patty? I had to mute one of your people. Oh, she's gone totally now. There you are.
You have to mute Patty.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to mute Patty because she had 2 microphones on.
I did. I turned off the phone.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
on the real computer
Perfect.
now.
Okay. So
Okay, so stirrups are too long.
Yep.
She jumps ahead because she's lost, and she needs to ride on the front of her calf with her leg down toward the girth, and needs to bend over at the hip and put her hands forward and grab the mane so she can learn to get in the right position,
right,
and not be balancing on this poor thing's mouth.
Right. She needs a neck strap. I'd put her in.
That's the first thing that
she's got a martingale strap right there.
Breastplate.
Well, she has a breastplate, and that's hard to grab that, but she needs a, and it could be that he just left long and she got left. I mean, maybe it's just a funky picture, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I think her stirrups are way too long, and I think.
So this is the angle here we're looking at. So that angle should be more like that.
More like that.
And then her body here.
And hands forward.
And the elbows here. So this is like this. It looks like she's just balancing right on the horse's mouth.
Right on his mouth.
She is, and by locking her legs, but that's just a position, like you said, at this moment of time. Still, her lower leg needs to be more forward.
Yeah. So what did we learn? The front of her leg should be at the back of the girth. So she's pivoting here.
Yes, because she's using the back of her heel instead of the inside of her calf muscle.
Exactly. That's exactly what she's doing. She's using the back of her calf instead of the front of her calf, and it's putting her whole foot in the wrong position. But most of that issue is because her stirrups are too long.
Yep.
So let's see here. Seat over the middle of the saddle more, knee.
She has a nice helmet on, though, huh, Randy? And has it on correctly.
Yes.
And she's
looking up, sort of.
Looking up. I mean, there's some good things here.
I'd like to see your hands down here more with this.
Up.
Well, that can't change until
forward.
The seat backward belongs. Until she's into her lower leg, she's at a stage right here from what we're seeing in this photo at this exact moment in time. She just needs to find where her balance is over her lower legs, because you can see here that at this point of this photo, she does not have that feeling of sinking into the horse as she's going over the jump. It's more like she's popping off of its back and falling forward, right?
Well, yeah, I'm wondering if she'd fall back if she wasn't holding on to the horse's mouth.
Oh, I think she would. She's certainly hanging on with her heels, the back of her heels.
And that's why I put a neck strap on at this stage, just to get her so she knows where to be. You know, those are adjusted where the hand, when you put them on a horse, for those who are using them, you adjust them so that they're shortened to the level that would be where the rider's hands would be, if they're correct.
What are you talking about, Randy?
Where to place when you use the neck strap.
Neck strap, yeah.
And some people will use one rein that they'll combine with their 2 reins. Other people will make a loop that goes around the horse's neck.
Yeah.
And you just make sure that when the rider puts pressure on it, because they're going to feel when they're leaning on the reins. That's why the neck strap is nice. Plus it balances the rider, but the rider will put it in their hands with the reins at the same time.
And to me, it looks like she's one of these riders who brings her hands back towards herself instead of keeping them there or pushing them forward.
I think it's just a balance issue, but it's almost like a backward release.
Exactly. The backward release.
Yeah. And which is, again, it's a little jump, and he may have left before she meant him to, but however,
she needs to put her stirrups up and get in balance with the horse. So now what can she do what are these exercises that we all do and like to do to make sure that she stays with the horse?
Well, he looks like a pretty reliable horse in this photo from what I'm seeing. So what I would do is, with a rider of this level, because she doesn't look like a beginner level rider.
Yeah.
I would have her coming over the lower jumps with no stirrups so she can get a feeling of what it should feel like, with a neck strap, of course, so she can just get a feeling of where her body should be balanced as she's going over a jump. She just doesn't know how to balance her body as she's going over a jump at this time of this photo.
Well, I'm practicing kind of going back a little bit, get the position correct on the flat, and then staying in 2-point trot jumps and stay really still because you're already in the jumping position is probably where I would start. And then
I'd even back it up even further than that. I would just go when you're trotting well, first of all, shorten her stirrups up. So the stirrup tread, the top of the stirrup tread is just right on her ankle bone, and just do the 2-point trot down the long side. Stay in your 2-point, put one hand above your head and one hand down by your side, and then
get stronger.
Know where your balance is.
The other thing
crossing your arms, lunging, all those types of things.
All of those work. And I'd also add, this is what I found is important with riders, is a lot of things get stiff when they try to get into their position. So a fun exercise to do if you're a rider or if you're working with other riders is to have the riders as they're going around, for example, we'll go into the trot, we'll just say the trot. What they'll feel is that their body's going to have a rhythm. It's going to rock right, left with the movement of the horse. And what you do is the rider's legs have to be flexible at all times, and the rider can feel it. So they step a little bit in the right stirrup as that goes up or down, and then in the left, and they start to feel, can they feel the flex from their ankle to their knee to the hips? And most riders can't feel it all the way through at first.
Yeah,
that's true. The other thing is when she goes to the jump, once the whole thing goes back to her position is not correct. So
exactly, her heels, their stirrups have to be
right. I mean, so the flat work position needs to be made more correct for jumping. But as you go to a jump, one of the things I always say is that you start to sink your heel down more and more and more, and as the horse leaves the ground, you stretch your calf down, and then you land in your ankle, and it's actually like
spring.
Yeah, spring or a
trampoline.
Yeah, it's just whatever. So you land in your ankle, so it's a shock absorber. Let your ankle be the shock absorber of the landing. And then if you do that, then your foot will stay up, the stirrup will stay up near the girth, and you'll land down in your lower leg, which is where you want to be.
Right.
From the very beginning. So if you get to something where you have to do turns and those things, landing in your lower leg will become natural. And then you can open and close your body whatever distance you want to. Every once in a while, a big long jump, and you have to you'll end up closing your body more so you don't get in the horse's way. But if your leg is in the right place, then you're going to land in the correct place. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, she needs to shorten her stirrups.
And reach forward.
She's learned she's got a good basic position. You can see she has really worked to maintain the position she has now. So at least she's at the skill level where she can take it to the next step. She has enough control of her riding position where it'll be easy for her to do this fix. She just has to feel the spring.
Oops.
Yes, I think so. I would like, yeah.
Okay, so what about a little bit of turnout stuff here that we talked about before?
Well, she's just schooling, it appears.
Right, but she's clean and nice, and and the horse's equipment looks like it fits well.
Mm-hmm.
And
looks good, huh?
Yeah, she looks great. Her tack looks great. Everything looks clean. Her shirt's clean. Everything's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Martingale fits.
Martingale fits. I have a question about this. This bugs me.
Oh, kiss of death.
Yeah, exactly.
Take the cups down.
That's just a real pet peeve of mine. And I mean, we heard about that for the show ring too. Just tucking that up under somehow.
Yeah.
But those are really minor things.
They are, but the cup
that long, just cut it off. Have it go to a leather maker and have them shorten it, I should say.
Or you can tuck it under. I mean, It's easy to tuck under.
Yeah,
if it's your own saddle. She may be a lesson. This may be a lesson horse. She may be a lesson kid. So
she may be a lesson type person.
yeah. So the you have whatever equipment you have, but you can tuck those under. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
But as far as the trainer goes in this photograph, the simple safety is that cup sitting there in that.
I think that's a cup. Maybe it's something on the kickboards. I don't know, but I'm thinking it's a cup.
I'm thinking it's a cup, but you may be right. Maybe something on the kickboards. Anyway, if it's not a cup, then we apologize for thinking it is. If it is a cup, ladies and gentlemen, those cups should not be left up there because so many things can happen. And there shouldn't be spare cups floating around.
Yeah.
Our photos with these cups showing on them.
Yeah. So you ready for the next one?
Sure.
Just a second now. Clear that. Close that.
Ooh.
Oh, this is a video. I'm not sure I can see it. Can you see it all right?
Kinda.
So we're just watching a video. If anybody's watching, and if anybody's watching, and if you'd like to make comments,
feel free.
It's tough to see that, isn't it?
Yeah.
To me, it looked like just from this far. I don't mind her lower leg. She's just a little perchy up on the top of the. It's hard to see. It's not a great.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
So she's a little perchy up on the front of her pelvis, and but her lower leg looks pretty solid, actually.
Mm-hmm.
From what I can see.
Is this the same rider?
There you go.
No.
Okay, this is another rider. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the same girl.
No. So yeah, she's just doing a flat thing here, cantering around. She's coming up the long side here. It's hard to see because it's small, and also because the gate is the fence is in the way, right? So if you are going to send in photos or videos, just try to get in the middle and be a little closer so we can see things. But generally, she looks great. She's following with the horse. It looks like she's got a solid lower leg there.
I think as I watch it, I feel she's a little bit pumpy with her seat.
She's pumpy with her seat.
Up on her front of her pelvis, and
instead of getting the horse to move forward, this is where the horse needs to move forward more freely. That's
exactly took the words right out of my mouth. She needs to get the horse moving off her leg a little bit more, and then she could sit quieter.
Yes, because that's all she's right at that point where the horse is listening to her, but he needs to go more forward so that she gets away from that pushing seat.
He kind of breaks a couple of times, or almost breaks a couple of times, like to a trot.
He's not in front of her. He's not in front of her aids.
He's not in front of her aids. So, I mean, if she was showing in an equitation class, I mean, she's good, solid.
Oh yes, no question about it. But this
just needs to go
the winners from the losers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That little bit of push is okay because an experienced rider knows how to push with their seat, but it's horse moves forward when you push with your seat, and then you go back to keeping the horse in front of your aids or in front of your seat, whatever, people have different terms for it. Like here, the horse is just barely at the edge of
cantering.
Right. See, and there he starts losing it.
Exactly.
He's no longer on the aids.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for people who are judging, like you both are judging all the time now, for your eye unconsciously to catch that little glitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
See there in the corner, you can see the shoulder.
I think it's great. I think it's great she sent it in. I think they just need to do a little better video. I'd love to watch it.
Because they're cute together.
Yeah, it's a cute horse,
lovely.
and she stays in the middle,
and they're at the level where they can take it to the next level.
Exactly. She needs to push the horse more forward. I don't know if this is a school horse or her horse or what. Like,
it's cute.
It would be It would be nice when they send in the videos, Laura, if they could even make that statement. I'm a riding lesson person once a week. I ride 5 horses 5 days a week.
And
You know,
the video inside of the ring. I mean, put the camera inside if they get the instructor's permission. This is
right.
This is lovely. She's a nice rider.
Yeah, I agree.
Of course.
She's just fine.
We all wish we had riders like this, right?
Yeah, she keeps
nice.
going and going on the left lead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's repeating. Okay. So ready to go to the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He doesn't look very happy.
I agree.
Oh, he has one of those bonnets on, I think.
But his ears are flat.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the normal just looking back. So something could be pinching him or something.
Or he's just grumpy.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is her horse or if this is this third lesson that this horse has been in today.
Or the fourth, right?
Yeah, it could be, exactly.
So
but he almost looks like he has one of those bonnets on, and maybe he just doesn't like the bonnet.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things you noticed, was it, Patty?
Yeah, it is. I'm a fanatic. I hate ears pinned back, unhappy horses. And then, and then I noticed that her leg stirrup could be on her foot, on the ball of her foot, and her heel down. And if she did that, her position actually would probably be fine.
Right.
It doesn't take much. Her hands are in pretty good place. Her eyes are up. She's up in front of the pommel, but I think she's up in front of the pommel because her lower leg's back behind her.
Exactly.
So she's pinching with her knee. So there's again where we kind of like it to be.
You are such an artist. It's a good thing.
That's again where if they have tension or tightness in their body, they don't have the flexibility or the spring to make it possible for them to follow the horse's movement. And that all relates to exactly what you're saying, Patty. You know, that her leg has to be in the right position, because where the stirrup is there's no way there can be a flexible ankle, which means that the knee's going to lock up and so is the hip.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the front of her leg should be near the back of the girth, and it's not.
It should be under her seat bone. So her seat should come back and her lower leg forward.
Her seat should be here, knee like this. And her shoulder should be a little bit more like that. Well, maybe not like that, maybe more like that. So there's the classic straight line, right?
Right.
Shoulder, knee,
and she actually, from her hip to her knee to her ankle, is kind of a straight line if you draw it.
Yeah.
Except that it's
good basic.
It's just the wrong straight line.
Right.
Exactly. So she's more this way.
Right. So the hip needs to go back a little bit more, and the knee needs to end up a little bit more forward and the foot more forward. So you get the hip to the ankle straight line.
Yeah, and this rider's got a nice solid position, the position she's learned. She just needs to make those adjustments to take it to the next level. Looks like she's doing okay with the release that she's up there with. You know what?
Yeah, I like her release, and if she'd put herself back and it let her open her elbows a little bit,
right,
keep her release where it is.
Yeah, it just kind of maybe a little bit looser, but
yeah, and I don't mind her hands at this level. I don't mind the longer release. I think it's just
I like that she's got her hands right on the horse's neck and not floating like that other picture we saw.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, she was just hanging on the horse's mouth. The other picture, this one's being pretty kind to her pony. Just a minor changes, and she'd have a good position. She looks solid.
Yep. And you know, the thing that drives me crazy is the helmet. The strap.
I was just going to say that, Randy. Just her helmet.
Say something, right?
Yeah.
That strap there. I can't see it. Does it even go around her ears? No, it's gone down to her chin. So
exactly.
This is an adjustable helmet, and every time with these, the helmets are great, but every time you put on an adjustable helmet, you have to shorten it so it fits around the rider's ears every time, so that they cup the rider's ears like earrings. And
just a second, Randy. Maybe you could do this here, and I'm going to put you on the hot seat there.
All right. So we were talking, I don't have a helmet in front of me.
Okay, I got a helmet.
But you don't have the adjustable straps. So you've got the one that's built in, but the one that's in this photo is like a Troxel or whatever. They're all approved, so there's nothing wrong. But what happens is the straps that go around the ears here, they have to be adjusted every time the rider gets on a horse because they end up sliding back. Like in the picture, you can see that it goes under the rider's jaws instead of meeting under the ears. You can see that this helmet's made this way, so the straps aren't going to slide. But the one in the photo is one of those that slides. And
Hey, I have a Troxel up at the barn. I'll bring it to the next time we do this.
yeah, because that's
So we
one of
can
those that has the, and there's nothing wrong with them. It's just we have to adjust the straps every time. And in this photo, you can see the strap is flapping
The
all
strap
over the
is-
place, right? Just slap yourself in the face while you're riding.
The strap is flapping.
Yes,
The flap is strapping.
you can get a braiding because most people that are riding these type of horses have little rubber bands. You can put that little rubber band you use for braiding on there to hold that back. If it's your helmet, you can just cut it off and melt the edges. Have a parent there if you're a child. You can just burn it off and make it so it looks neater because that looks, we just don't want it flapping around. Right.
And again, this gal could have been a lesson kid. It would just be nice to know those things. And then if we had that information, then we could say to the trainer,
yes,
if this is something to teach them to do correctly. Either way.
Might as well. I mean, all it takes is one little braid end and it fixes the whole problem.
Exactly.
And it makes the pros, those of you who are pros, it makes you look more professional. Those of you who aren't yet, it's just another thing that makes everything.
Well, it's a safety thing.
It's a safety thing.
Yeah, you have to have it that way. I mean,
time behind the out. Yeah,
doesn't fit properly. If they were not to, if they were to fall off, and the helmet might just not protect properly.
That's right, and it's all about safety.
It is all about safety.
Yeah,
and having fun second.
Excellent. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to okay, next one. There, what does that look like?
It looks like my old thoroughbred horse.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I bet it might be. Okay, so it looks, I'm going to assume she's turning. If she's not turning, then she's very crooked. So if she's listening to this, her whole body looks like she's looking left, and it looks like the horse is turning left a little bit. I like her release. I would like her upper body off the neck a little bit. I think she rides well enough to be able to do that. And I'd like her to wrap her lower leg around the horse and more forward. She's pushing on her stirrup iron away from the horse.
Right.
So but I do like her release. I like where her hands are and her elbow, and the horse is able to use its head and neck.
Yeah, she's nice and soft there with the reins, isn't she?
Yeah,
she's
soft. Except the bite's on the wrong side. The bite should be underneath the rein.
Yeah. So Patty's. It is underneath the rein, I think.
No, I think it's over the rein. It needs to be underneath. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the look. Maybe it's just. I can't see that well. So
yeah. So
anyway, if it's over the top of the rein, it should go under the rein. If it's under the rein, I apologize.
You're fine. Yeah. Exactly.
But I think she looks like someone that it wouldn't take much to
she's really solid up there, isn't she? Like,
yeah, she's really solid. She's just doing too much. She doesn't. It's a 2'6" jump maybe, and she's jumping it like it's a 4-foot jump.
Yeah.
Now this horse looks to me like, because it doesn't use its shoulder as well as I would like it to, it may push really hard off maybe jump up high and hard to kind of compensate for that. So, which is a reason, not an excuse for her position. So there is a difference. I mean, so she has to learn how to get that leg forward and down around the horse. And if it's a thoroughbred horse,
their lower leg should be more here.
Yes, or even more. I mean, I think the stirrup iron should stay very close to the middle to the back of the girth.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, almost there. And if she did that, it would open her right up. You know, I mean, it's just,
Yeah, she'd have to be more like this.
yeah, she'd have to be physically. So,
Yeah.
And then maybe your hands here a little bit more.
yeah, maybe. Yeah. Or just open the elbow a little more. I don't mind the release.
Open the elbow. Yeah, that's
I'd
it.
like to never bring her shoulders back and so that she opens up the front because she's starting to tip. Once the elbows go be lower than the neck is when they lose their upper body position. So I'd like
So her elbows lower than the neck.
yeah. So I'd like to see her elbows higher, which means she needs to bring her shoulders back more.
Yeah, open her hip angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
If she does that, it'll just automatically bring her elbows up.
And
sometimes there's those little tricks, like if you ride on the front of your calf,
that'll
amazing.
fix everything.
It fixes everything.
Yeah.
You can put your heel down and put your hip. It does everything. It's so simple.
And
like looking where you're going. If you lift your chin up and look where you're going, it pulls your shoulders back.
That's true.
I mean, everything's connected. So.
And I like to call it the inside of the calf muscle because riders need that definition on where it will be because the front of the calf is like the shin bone. So we want them to have the inside of their calf muscle against the side of the horse. And most riders roll and ride with the back of their calf muscle because, you know, how many people are taught, especially in the hunter jumper world, to have those little Prince of Wales spurs? And what they do is they teach a rider to go back on their calf muscle so they're spurring their horses with their spurs. Instead of using their leg the way that, you know, we know that it should be used. It's one of those catch-22 things.
It is. It happens. Absolutely. Yeah, but this girl she's turned out well for a lesson and or maybe she's at a little jumper show, although it doesn't look like she has a number on. But
what's your first impression? I mean, what was your first impression when you saw her? Just thinking, wow, she looks really solid. Just bring her shoulders back.
Yeah, she looks solid. Just some little fixes, you know. Yeah, I think she's just fine.
I would say she's at a point where she's beyond being just a beginner type of rider. She's actually going into a more advanced level from intermediate because you can see she's got control of her riding position, how she balances it. She's also got control of the horse's speed and direction of travel.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I want to go back to this one here. What exercises would you give to this rider? I mean, if you compare these two, okay, you got this one and you got this one. Which one looks more solid?
This one.
The chestnut. This
right?
one. Yeah, this one looks more beginner. And the first thing I would do is get her stirrup iron in the proper part of her foot and work on those exercises. And like we talked about, just like the first rider, 2 point or a half a 2 point.
Half seat.
Half seat.
Yeah.
And work on that and work on being able to let go, put your hands up, put your hands down, make that as solid and keeping your leg exactly where it needs to go. And then start adding in poles and lengthening that leg on the way to the jump, in the air over the jump, and when you land from the jump. And I think that would help her immensely. But she looks forward. She's got some great things going on. She looks forward and she looks in the middle. She just needs to get that stirrup, I think, a hole shorter and the ball of her foot in the proper place on the stirrup for me.
Totally agree.
I agree with ladies. Again, with this rider, with her level of riding, I'd like to see her with a neck strap so that she can learn where her body, when it's positioned correctly, the rider has to keep their seat in the right place and they learn where they're tipping over or falling too far back in the saddle. So I would add a neck strap for this one right away. And then going back to the basics of just asking her, can you feel where your body's locking up when they're doing the walk? Can they feel the feeling of their body doing this here all the way down to their foot, into their, like I like to go from the ankle to the knee to the hip and see that they can feel when they're actually following that movement and they're relaxed and flexible in it, and then move up onto the other gates and just feel, can they feel that movement? But again, this is not for beginners, right, ladies?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Maybe an
Well,
intermediate or above rider, but it's when they get to the point where they're aware of what's happening with their body. Beginners aren't aware of when they're locking up. They
no,
can't.
and it's our job to give them the exercises to unlock. And a lot of times once they do unlock, then they'll feel that and they'll go, oh, that feels better.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
and I
what
think,
you're talking about. Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Right. It's a
well,
big
sitting around your horse instead of on top of your horse.
right.
And that's and being part of the movement versus going against the movement. Like
Okay,
this
so
girl,
she's with her horse.
Right.
Like she
is.
feels the horse.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like her. I just could fix a few things.
Yeah, fix a
I
few
just
things.
think she's overdoing. Too much.
think
Upper
sometimes
body
too-
too closed.
I think sometimes too that some people, instructors and riders, they are so in tune with not interfering with the horse that they overcompensate, and so they get too far ahead of the horse, which interferes with them in a different way. It loads up their front end, and maybe he would jump better if she wasn't loading his front end so much.
Right. He looks like he really does look like my old thoroughbred horse. He looks like he's probably fairly athletic.
Yeah.
And I would, for the horse part and not knowing the horse, but from this picture, I'd go right to those low wide oxers and
low wide oxers.
Wide oxers and just keep cantering to the base. And when you get that, then start turning in the air and roll those ground lines out a little bit and just get them to push from the hind end. But no, I think this girl's just fine. Her fingers are closed on the reins. I think she's good. She just needs to open her hip angle a little bit and push the stirrup iron forward a little bit. And I think both of those things would make it even better.
I agree.
Excellent. Okay, so before we go on to the next one, I'm just going to stop my screen share. There we go. And I'm going to do a screen share again. Isn't this fun?
So much fun.
Okay. Okay, so I want to just look at some comments, particularly Kathy Mick.
I can't read them, so you'll have to read them
dang.
to me. No, it's just
No?
coming in. It's kind of blurry. I can see what it is, but I just can't.
Okay, it says, why do you all think that so many kids or young and beginner riders and even intermediate riders are being taught this way in the saddle or jumping, or why do you think they are not being taught out of this position? Always do you pinching at the knees, riding off the back of the calf with the toes pointed out. And the most pet peeve thing of mine is the rider having such a closed hip and go where they are folded over the pommel of the saddle and almost having their chest on the horse's crest with their hands halfway up the horse's neck. I do realize a lot of these position issues are due to what the rider is doing with different areas of the body and having an insurance policy. I never really see instructors teaching kids the correct position all the way through in every lesson and teaching bad habits. So it's kind of like what we were just talking about was that last rider.
Yes.
Why do you think some people are allowing their students to lean too far forward and push their chest on the neck of the horse and not ride properly off their inside of their calf and keeping their seat closer to the saddle without ducking?
If I can address this one, I'd like to say, first of all, that there are many very good instructors around the world who are teaching things properly. We see them all of the time. So if there's a weakness in something that's happening, it could simply be because the instructor doesn't know how to fix it. And that's why shows like this are so important, because we're showing you other ways that you can change your riding position or the riders you're working with, right?
Yeah. It seems I totally agree with you. There are people who don't do that. But I think sometimes some instructors and some riders, they go to horse shows and watch the professionals riding the 4-foot hunters, let's say. And sure, when you're riding over 4 feet, or if you're riding in the Grand Prix jumpers, yeah, you gotta get forward with them. But to start, you have to stay
Exactly.
with your horse. You have to stay with your horse at the level that you're at and at the level your horse is at. There's no reason for you to be ducking over a cross rail, let's say.
Exactly.
I mean,
There's absolutely no reason for that. And so,
and as soon as you jump in your 5 feet or 4-foot hunters or whatever, then sure, come back to me and tell me how to position it. It's just kind of like a Grand Prix dressage
most
rider.
of these guys that are the professionals, they've ridden long enough that they've kind of tweaked their style a little bit, and they have their own style that works for them. Getting on 10 different horses and showing 10 different rings and doing that. They have figured out what works for them. So watch what works for them and know that they started off with these same basics. You have to start off with the basics because they're correct. That's why we do them, because they're really correct. And so you want to try to emulate the professionals, but watch the ones you copy. Don't copy the ones that are losing. Copy the ones that are winning.
Copy the ones that are winning. Exactly.
But copy and watch the equitation riders that go. Now, and that sometimes can cause a weird thing too, because remember when everybody was wearing the little ponytail down the back?
Right.
Behind their thing, they'd put a ponytail because there was a rider from Chicago that was phenomenal, and none of us really liked the ponytail, but we overlooked the ponytail. So then everybody's wearing a ponytail.
With the big ribbon then, after that, the ribbon.
No. These are the higher jumps, not the pony kids. These are the... And she just had a ponytail, and it just flopped down her back. And again, it wasn't what we were looking for, but her talent was so amazing. She got to win. Didn't matter who was playing the game.
Right.
So when there's kind of a right way and a wrong way in this business. And I think there's a couple of things. I think that there are amazing instructors. There are great horsemen, and there are really good instructors. And then there are, it's one of the few things that you don't have to be licensed to do.
Right.
So anybody can do it. If you look around and you think all the riders are doing the same thing wrong, either look it up yourself and fix it, or look around and find maybe someone who can fix it for you. I think sometimes if you're a lesson person, a once a week lesson person or twice a week lesson person, and you're in a group lesson with a young trainer, there are some things that get missed. So the trick is to then say, okay, once a month, I want to ride with trainer A and come back and ride with you. Don't be afraid to ask the questions and push to be better. And sometimes those trainers are tired. I mean, not right now, none of us are working enough, but sometimes they're just tired and they see the same thing over and over again and they just get tired. Or they've told, maybe that little girl on that chestnut horse, maybe that trainer has told her 7,000 times where to put her leg. And
exactly, or don't lean
she's
so far
finally
forward.
done. She's tired of it, so I don't know the answers. And I think to answer the question of why do some trainers do it, some of it's lack of knowledge. Some of it is, it's hard to be a good teacher. I think it's hard to know how to instruct. And in my humble opinion, the teachers are good are the ones that tell you what to do, not what not to do. Right. So they put the positive on it. And so many times people, like anything, like go make your bed. You don't want to go make your bed. Push your heels down, push your heels down, push your heels down, push your heels down.
Right.
Your heels up down.
A little bit, don't
right.
they?
So come up with something else. Come up with a different plan. And like Laura and
Well,
Randy
if
said.
you're
That's why
being
this is
told
such.
all the time that you push your heels down, and it's not working, then there maybe that rider needs to learn a different way. Maybe they need to do exercises to do that, or maybe they need to see a
Exactly.
picture, and they need to watch somebody else. Maybe
Well,
they
and
need to
also
see it on
if you,
paper or read
yeah,
it.
if you have, Randy, you can tell me if I'm right about this, but I've seen recently, and at some clinics I've done, some riders that have some physical issues, and when I've asked the trainer if that rider has a physical issue, they say they don't know
Oh,
why.
well, that's not
And
right.
no, so the parents somewhere in your release form or in your contract or whatever you do, it's probably a wise choice to put a comment in there. Is
Any
there
medical
anything I
issues.
should, any medical or physical
Yeah.
issues I should know
Or
that would
even
affect your
emotional.
riding? Emotional, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right.
something.
Good
All those
point.
things should be
Exactly.
included in there. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. Okay,
Because
I
it
want to
makes
go
it
on.
better, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to go on to something else here. I was doing a review here on my YouTube channel, and I said this rider should be wearing gloves. And somebody asked the question, Mickey Robinson asked, "What is your reasoning for riding with gloves?"
What is your reasoning, Laura?
My reason is there's two: is one to protect your hands. That's number one, to give it to good grip on the hands, and also number three, to muffle the tension that's in your hands when it goes to the horse's mouth. Those are my three reasons why. But the big one is to protect your hands from, if they're particular, if you're riding a school horse that wants to pull a little bit, or if you're riding or schooling a horse and you have to use your reins, then your gloves will protect your hands. And also to offer a better grip, a secure grip on the reins. So when you are riding, if you're doing that $50,000 jump off and you don't want your hands to be slipping on the reins.
It's true.
And I like them because they just, for me, if I'm riding 3 days in a row and I'm not riding with, the lightweight, I like the lightweight leather type of gloves. But if I don't have those on, I start getting blisters and sores in between my fingers where the reins go. And I'm not holding the reins tight, so I can't imagine if somebody's holding tight as they're doing this, what might be happening. So for me, gloves is just like we're all talking about. It protects my hands in ways that my skin won't hold up to it anymore. But that was, in the old days when I wasn't riding with contact, I think it was different than when the days shifted to riding with more contact. But now I think I prefer riding with gloves regardless of what kind of reins I've got in.
Okay, so in the show ring, gloves are a must in the equitation. They look nicer in the hunters.
They just look nicer. It's part of the art.
Me personally, I never rode in gloves except at the show ring. I loved my hands on the reins. I thought I could feel the bit better, and I thought I could feel the reins better without the gloves. So
also, as far as showing goes, wearing black gloves hides your hands if you don't have good hands. Like it keeps if you got a dark horse and dark gloves and a dark coat, you can hide some.
You can keep a lot of things.
You can keep a lot of things hidden.
If you wear a coat that fits properly, that touches the back of your saddle when you're sitting in it. When you're sitting in the saddle, the back of your coat should touch the cantle or the seat, the back of the seat.
Very good. I've never heard that before. That is
And
very good piece of
it
advice.
works really well. And there's the new jackets out there, and God bless them in the jumper ring. They say they work great, and they're stretchy, and and you can wash them. And I get all of that, but for some reason they designed them shorter. And it's really, there isn't a body type that they look great when they're on the horse, in my humble opinion. It doesn't matter what size you are. If you're really skinny, the longer coat would make you look so elegant instead of the shorter coat. And it's just, we're getting kind of used to it now. We used to all gripe about them, and now we see them all the time. It's like we're tired of griping, but I like a coat to fit well.
Okay, here's another question. This is from Melissa Marvel. Melissa, thank you so much for sending in this question. Here you are, Melissa. What is the best practice to keep your elbows in when cantering? That's a really good question. because a lot of the time, people are cantering. I guess this is what they do.
How about the driving rein? What happens if you use the driving rein? Doesn't that help keep your elbows in?
Yeah, I think so. Because that forces you to keep your hands upright. So it's hard to put your elbows out with your hands are upright.
And then I think also the thought process of keeping a straight line from your elbow to your wrist to the horse's mouth. If your elbows are out, if they know why, sometimes if they know why they're to do something, so not only tell them how to do it, but tell them why they're doing it. So if you are cantering with your elbows out, could be a couple of things. Could be your reins are too long.
Yeah.
Could be that your reins are too long. I can't think of any other reason. And so, but if you ride with the driving rein, that might help if that's an issue. Is this for her personally? Is this for you personally, or is this?
Oh, this is someone wrote a comment on the on my YouTube channel.
Right.
Here.
So, but try that, the driving rein. Put the reins over the top, and you have to then keep your hands, because if the elbows don't go out, if the hands, it's pretty hard to put the elbows out if your hands are going in the correct
what
direction.
I suggested is an overcorrection would be to, instead of riding this way, ride with your palms up, which is totally not what you're supposed to do, but try to stick your elbows out with your riding with your palms up. That would be an overcorrection. That's difficult.
Sometimes you overcorrect those things. How you doing there, Randy?
Well, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? So what I would do with this, because most riders have that problem, and what happens is they start locking up in their body. So what I tell them to do is feel their hips coming through their elbow, and what they'll start feeling, and they'll especially feel it when they're doing the rising trot or the posting trot. They'll start feeling either their hips are landing in front of their elbows or coming through their elbows. And if it's coming through their elbows, they're staying above their seats, actually. So they get the sensation. If they can't feel their hips coming through their elbows, then they know that they're not staying connected with their seat, because they're starting to bring their hands up like this, right?
Yeah.
So unless their hips are coming through their elbows, they are not connected to their seat. Again, this is not for a beginning level of rider.
Yeah.
It's for the ones that actually get to the point where they do have control of their riding position and how they're using it.
And if the beginner riding instructors would be a little more particular about where their hands are and putting neck straps on, and keep teaching the kids where their arms should be in the beginning,
right?
Then it doesn't have to be a fix later on.
Right. Do it properly right from the get-go.
Right.
Keeping in line with your driving rein, maybe putting a riding crop at the top here is one thing you can do, to keep your hands in that position. It's hard to stick your elbows out when you're like that.
A lot of people put things underneath the rider's armpit or under.
Yes. I mean, I rode forever when I was a teenager with my elbows tied behind my back until somebody fell off with their
having something under your arm. But everybody, the one thing we've learned, because we've been in the horse industry a long time, is there's 10,000 ways to do one thing.
10,000 ways to leave your lover.
Right. And we're so lucky to live at a time that we have exposure to all of this.
So here, I want to read you my favorite comment from my YouTube here. I'm going to put it on here. I wish I could make it bigger so you guys could see it. Laura's voice is so pretty.
Oh, you have a fan, Laura.
I do. I have several fans. Oh, here's another one from Kathy Mick. I got an email from Kathy this morning, but here's her. Love Randy stuff on YouTube. Wish she still made more.
There you go.
She's commenting on your videos on my channel. How do you think about that?
That's
Randy special.
Kathy, the elastic elbows. Tanya, I don't understand why this woman's got mad at me because this one. Okay, so let's go back to.
We can be mad. Who's mad? I'd love to talk.
She's mad because I named my video the wrong thing.
Oh, they get funny about that stuff. Or if you misspell a word.
Okay. Are you ready to do another one?
Sure.
Okay, so let's stop.
Let's see who else's life we can ruin.
Oh, come on now.
It takes a brave person to be,
It does, and it's good.
And
it's good.
Do their demos and stuff, and we hope we're making a difference for those who are sharing them with us. Nothing is critical.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate it, and we understand that this is just kind of a moment in time, and we'd like for you to. We're hoping that we're here to help you improve your riding, and we really, well, as you can tell, we love talking about horses and riding, right? So
we do.
Yeah.
Scary.
So can you see that all right?
Yeah, kind of. I'm just looking at. So my first impression is that it is a tall rider on either a small horse or a large pony, and my first impression was this is like the opposite. Is there's too much in her heel, like she's shortened up her stirrups a lot, and I'd like to see her stirrups down a hole. And then because she's tall on whatever creature this is, and it's cute, don't get me wrong, I think it's cute.
Yeah, look at those knees up there, huh?
Yeah, it's adorable. It makes her use her upper body too much.
Yeah,
but I think it's a size thing, not a weight thing, a height thing, a length thing. It just seems like she's a little tall. Now, if she does it in the jumpers, it doesn't matter. If she comes into the hunter ring with it, it's going to look a little unbalanced.
Do you think she's got her stirrups up because she's a tall rider on a pony?
I think so.
Yeah.
I could be way wrong, but it's making her really close her upper body too much, and it looks like it left from a good distance. It's a good jumper.
I love the when the photograph was taken, just like his toe is just on the ground. I just love that.
I love it. It's perfect.
Here's the one thing that Randy was talking about. I think the elbow is below the horse's neck.
Right. So her upper body's way ahead of her, where she can balance over her lower leg.
So she should be, well, not that much, Laura. Come on now.
Come on, Laura.
That's
like your dressage 3-point position. So,
capable rider, you can see she has a lot of experience and skill in what she.
Yeah, she looks like she's a talent. I mean, she's been
solid.
Yeah, she's solid and knows where she is. It's a good feel. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It just looks to me like she's too tall on this pony or horse.
And over jumping. She's throwing herself way forward.
So, yeah, so if this is, oh gosh, so this is where she is here.
She needs to sit back.
She needs to be here. What is it that George Moore says, 35 or something, or 40 degrees in front of the vertical or something?
Yeah, he does. A visual is if you could put a riding helmet between your chest and the horse's neck, gives you a pretty good gap so you're not laying on the neck.
Right.
So if you could slide a riding helmet in there, and it just to keep the chest off the neck. And sometimes that's all they need to hear. They just need to understand the distance you're talking about.
Right.
So you could fit a grapefruit in there?
Yeah, or a riding helmet. I think a riding helmet. I think grapefruit's too small.
No, but I mean, do you think you can fit, like, is there enough of a gap? I think you can fit an orange in there. I think you can fit a lemon in there.
Well, probably from the angle, I'm thinking an orange might work. But I think it's just, again, I think it's just she's compensating for the height. And if this is her pony and her small horse and shows it in the jumpers, I think it's great. If she shows it in the hunter and the equitation and the smaller horse shows, I think she's probably fine also. However, if it's a pony and she shows it in the ponies, there's a question, then why is she on that pony? But it's a good jumper.
He is good.
It's adorable.
Looks like she's got I think that's not a bit in the horse's mouth.
Which makes me think it's a jumping hack.
Jumping, yeah.
So it's probably a jumper, which is fine. It doesn't matter how big you are. well, within how tall you are. I don't want to use the word big because she's not big, she's tall.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of length there on a short creature.
Look solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first of all, it left really long.
Really long. Whee!
It's in its bascule and it hasn't gotten over the top of the jump. I mean, it's ready to come down almost. Whoops.
Next one.
Okay. So this one, I think her stirrups are a little too short.
Yeah, look where her knee is.
Yeah, but she could be playing catch up.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's get back to where the horse took off.
Yeah.
That's a long jump.
It's a long jump.
So the horse should probably be taking off here, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a long jump. It's an oxer, so she just left long, and it's fine. However, again, we're back with someone with their stirrup back almost to the heel of their boot instead of the ball of their foot.
That's got a certain term, right? That's called home. A foot is home in the stirrup.
Exactly. And I mean, and she's out of the horse's way. She's put her hands forward and
but again, she's staying with the horse beautifully, isn't she?
She is. She's doing pretty well. My guess is that she opened up early when it landed on its way down because she's so far down. That is one of the things that happens when you close your upper body too much.
She is even, like, if that's horizontal, it's like she's almost below horizontal.
Yeah, she's trying to catch up, and that's a good instinct.
Yeah.
Your horse leaves long, it's a really good instinct to do that. And everybody misses a distance. There isn't anybody that doesn't miss a distance somewhere along the line. So a long jump, she's at least staying out of the horse's way, which I like. I fix her feet in the stirrup. I'd like to see a different picture of her to see if this is just a reaction to the jump or, yeah, she's looking up. I love that she's not in this horse's mouth.
I like this hand position. Her elbow is a little bit low on the neck, but I know that some people don't like that. But I think that it looks really kind of soft. I like to see her bum, though, like you say.
Like her hip.
She's trying to stay with this sucker because he maybe should have put another step in there, but maybe it's a horse show. Yeah, she's got a number, so.
Yeah, but it looks like a hunter jump.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a jumper jump. I don't see any numbers or flags. So I'm going to assume that it's a schooling show, maybe. She doesn't have a coat on.
It looks like she's got a number.
Yeah, and she's got a square pad. So maybe it's maybe it's just a little baby jumper thing, or just a warm-up jump in a warm-up. But she's got the square pad, so we're going to back up here and say 6 feet. Yeah.
Purple shirt and purple pad.
I like that.
It could be an in-house schooling or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it could be her schooling at the horse show, or maybe maybe they have like a baby jumper, beginner jumper. So they doesn't have all the flags.
I noticed in the photo is that she may not have been prepared for the horse to take off early. And this shows in the way, for example, in her lower leg, the way it is positioned, she was caught behind. So in this photo, she's caught a little bit behind. Her foot is slipped, but it's the perfect place to show where the weaknesses in her riding position is, where she can take it to the next level. Because her natural reaction is to roll back on the back of her calf, right?
Staying alive. Alive.
Locks her knee down into her ankle. She has no flexibility from her knee down to the ankle. There's no bounce there because all of a sudden now her knees, she's like pivoting on her knees. So she's got a really strong thigh and knee on here, but there's no way she can have any flexibility down below because she's locked up everything. And as a result of that, being left behind, all of a sudden her body gets thrown forward as she's preparing for the jump. And that's where she's dropped her elbows instead of finding her weight by shifting back into a deeper, longer leg that wraps around the horse.
Yeah.
Right. She's jammed her leg up defensively because her center of grip, where she finds her security, right here is in her knees. And not that it's a bad thing, but we're talking about what she can do at the next level is create the foundation where it comes down through the lower leg, right?
Yeah.
Where you've got the spring that's maintained instead of the leg locking up. And this is just one step, a photo that we're looking at.
Yeah, this is just
Exactly.
one moment in time. Maybe it was
That's
good,
all.
but like you say, she got to a wrong spot, and her instincts were not to interfere with the horse, but she
Right.
just needed to teach herself what to do in
Think
case that
deeper.
happens
Yeah,
again.
as soon as that happens, because we ride more, or than this rider, we know as soon as we instinctively feel something happen, we sink deeper into our
Think deeper, right here.
sink deeper into our lower legs, and we ground ourselves into our position. And that's where this rider could change that, because she has the ability to do it.
Yeah.
Well, she does, and if she would fix her stirrup
Yeah.
Yes.
on her foot, it would be so much better.
Yeah.
It looks like her conformation, the rider's conformation, it looks like between her knee and her ankle, it looks the same as between her thigh and her hip and her knee. I mean, she's got a beautiful long leg here.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. And as Randy said, she got caught up in a funny jump, as we said in the beginning. And so that's where at this level, because she's almost got it,
Mhm.
she could fix that better and make that be a better jump.
And we
Because-
are always, all of us are always improving. So that's the
Yeah,
good news.
exactly.
We're so lucky to be involved in a sport where we're always improving. Life would be so boring if we were always perfect, right? No, the horses teach us humility, that's for sure.
Okay, so I want to do one last thing before we cut off. I mean, I could keep going here, but we're just going to cut. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to show this thing here. Share.
Oh, I think this is hysterical.
Do you think this is hysterical? Okay, so I'm going to go here and just watch this, and then we'll sign off. This is America's Got Talent. Things not to do unless you know what you're doing.
Whew. I'm going to send that to my friend Montana, who has a little boy. I can see it happening. Awesome. This was fun, ladies.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Nice getting together with you guys.
Thank
and
you.
If you know anybody, okay, I'm just going to put myself a little bigger here. Where am I? Okay, if you know anybody who should be watching this, or if you'd like to share it, please do. And my name is Laura, and today we had Randy and
Patty.
Hi. If you have any questions, send me an email or make it in the comments. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, guys.
Did you have fun, Randy?
Oh, fun. We did have fun. We're great together.
Did you have fun, Patty?
I had a good time, yes.
Excellent. So we'll see you next week.
You got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, I really want to end the